Hi, everyone. Welcome to Monday Mentoring Moments for Young Women. I'm Dr. Chris Strobel, award-winning author, keynote speaker, founder, and a grateful believer in Jesus Christ. There is a columnist. His name is Leonard Pitts Jr. He used to write for the Miami Herald. He is a writer. He won the 2004 Pulitzer Prize for commentary, and he's written a number of books. And one book in particular is this book here. It's called Becoming Dad: Black Men and the Journey to Fatherhood. And it's a must read for any black man who did and did not have a loving and involved father in the household. And so one thing that Leonard Pitt says in that book that I think is very, very poignant is that any man can be a father, but you have to earn the title of dad. And I think that's so true. And so he also writes about father involvement versus marriage rates. He writes about the family structure in the African American community, and he writes in support of Black women, and he's an African American man himself. And it was about 25 years ago, he wrote a column, an article, and I can't remember the title of the article, but I remember something that he wrote in there. And he said, the sad reality is that many Black women will never get married. And today, still, it is a sad reality that many young Black single mothers will never get married. And what you have to do is you have to reconcile that, come to terms with it, and then forge a path forward for you and your children. And so I'm going to give you 3 steps today in terms of how to do that. And number 1, you have to radically accept that it is what it is. And radical acceptance is a coping skill that's used in recovery, and it's used for someone who is emotionally suffering. It's used to ease that emotional pain and suffering. And you know that you are suffering emotionally when you are rehearsing thoughts like, this isn't fair, it shouldn't be this way, which is true, but it is what it is. And if you're feeling bitterness and resentment and you're feeling stuck in your situation, but you don't know how to change it, those are telltale signs that you are fighting reality. And step 1 is that you have to radically accept that it is what it is, that, as Leonard Pitts Jr. says, sad reality, many Black women will never get married. And it's the sad reality that many young Black single mothers will never get married. So that's step 1. Step 2 is you have to feel the sadness. You have to embrace it, feel it so you can move forward. You have to grieve your loss, the loss of your dream. And grief doesn't just involve the loss of the death. Grief is any loss that you experience. The loss of a relationship with your mother or father, you have to grieve that. You have to grieve this loss of the reality that you may never get married. You have to grieve that. And I have a friend, I never thought about this in terms of grief, but he did 25 years. And when he got out, he told me that in the beginning, he gained a lot of weight because he had to grieve the loss of his freedom. And I never thought about that, but it makes sense. He lost his freedom, so you have to grieve that. And so step 2 for you is you have to feel the sadness, embrace it, and then grieve that loss. You have to learn how to manage grief as well, because it's going to come in waves. It's going to come and go. You know, you may see your friends who are married and they're buying a house and they're taking vacations, things that you would like to do with a husband, and you don't have that. And so you may feel sadness and grief, and you just have to learn how to manage that. I mean, it is what it is. So that's step 2. And then step 3 is you've got to forge a path forward for you and your children. What is it that you want? Where do you want to be in 10 years? And make a plan, take steps to reach the goals that you have for yourself in 10 years. And then forge a path forward for your children and embrace the great opportunity that you have to rear a young man, a son, who will fear and have reverence for God, who will understand the importance of church because you take him to church, who will understand the importance of marriage. And what will happen is that you will create an opportunity in the future so that Black women do have a greater opportunity to get married. And so really embrace that opportunity of what you can do to forge a path forward for you and your children. And so the sad reality again is that many of you young Black single mothers will never have the opportunity to get married, and you have to reconcile that, come to terms with it so that you can move forward. And the way you do that is step one, you have to radically accept that it is what it is. You don't have to like it, but it is what it is. Number two, you have to feel the sadness, embrace the grief, and learn how to manage the grief because it'll come in waves. And then you have to create a plan for yourself and your children, forge a path forward, and then teach your sons a different way so that they value church and that they value marriage. And so as I open, Leonard Pitts Jr. is a columnist. He wrote for the Miami Herald. He won the 2004 Pulitzer Prize for commentary. He's written a number of books, and this one in particular is called Becoming Dad: Black Men and the Journey to Fatherhood. And he says that a lot of Black men did not grow up with a loving and involved father in the household, and so they have to learn how to become dad. And Leonard Pitts writes about father involvement versus marriage rates. He writes about the family structure in the African American community, and he writes in support of Black women. And as I open, he wrote an article about 25 years ago, and something he wrote in there I've never forgotten. He said, the sad reality is that many Black women will never have the opportunity to get married. And as young Black single mothers, you have to reconcile that, come to terms with it, feel the sadness, and move forward. And so this is today's Monday Mentoring Moments. I hope this information was helpful to you. If you're watching on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications, and every Monday afternoon when I upload a video, you'll receive notification. If you're watching on Instagram and TikTok, just be on the lookout for reels that I'll post throughout this week. So thanks again for watching Monday Mentoring Moments for Young Women. I'm Dr. Chris Strobel, award-winning author, keynote speaker, founder, and a grateful believer in Jesus Christ. Thanks for watching. See you next week.